Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Forged from Iron. As it says there on the banner, and I say it every time, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell notification for alerts on new content. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support. We are here today to discuss Matchday 20, learn to count, Rob, 20 of 38 in the Premier League. West Ham United, Everton, London Stadium, tomorrow. El Sackio, I've dubbed it. Well, I'm not the one that coined the phrase. It's what I've used on the title, El Sackio, because I think it's fairly safe to say that this is probably loser leaves town territory. This is probably going to be the last match for one of these two people in the dugout. It's either going to be David Moyes or Frank Lampard that's going to be handed their P45 if they should be handed an L in the column. It even might be that a draw might not be enough for either David Sullivan or Farhad Moshiri. Who knows? But certainly I would think a defeat for either one would spell impending doom. It's fair to say. Now, I know there are some people, and I understand the logic behind it, that would turn around and put the scenario forward. Well, if David Moyes wins, then he keeps his job until the Newcastle game. Forget about the Derby game. He gets the Newcastle game, by which time the transfer window's shut. If we get smashed in that game and he gets the tin after that, then whoever's come in has got to basically work with what he's got, and that's all there is to it. And I can understand the logic. Some people turning around and saying, oh, I hope we get beat. I get why people say that. I fundamentally disagree. I can't go down that track. I want my team to win every single match. No ifs, no buts. And we need the 3 points. I mean, this is now the second half of the season. This is game number 20 of 38. So we've played the first half of the season. We've played 19 games up to including the Wolverhampton Wanderers fixture. This is now the second half of the season. Starts tomorrow. And we need to start it on the front foot. We need to start it positively for me. I don't want to see West Ham United going out there looking like they're scared of their own shadow. I mean, let's be honest, that's pretty much how we've played for most of this season. We've sort of like been keeping the opposition at arm's length, starting a little bit slowly, bit pedestrian. We go a goal down, and then we've got to try and retrieve the situation in the latter stages of the second half. Well, it's not worked in the previous 19 games, David. So why don't we try something different? Why don't we try and set up a little bit more offensively rather than defensively? Just a thought. What do I know? I've only got an FA Level 1 coaching badge. What do I know? Anyway, that's my little thoughts on the matter. As those of you that might have noticed, you might have noticed that my friend, my wingman, my accomplice, Mr. Duke, is nowhere to be seen. You might have noticed. And I'll come to the comments in a moment. I'm sure a few of you might have noticed this. Basically, he's gone absolutely potty at work. His pub has gone absolutely ballistic, which is good news. Good news for Duke. And I'll tell you what, before I get into that, I'll tell you what, I will, because I like to try and sort of help me mate out, it has to be said, when I've got the opportunity to do so. If any of you are in the Lewisham area, and he's got a photograph here, hasn't he? He's got a photograph. There it is. That's his very fine establishment. It is on the corner of Lehigh Road and Belmont Hill. If any of you know this particular corner of southeast London, that is Duke's pub, the Lewisham Tavern. So if any of you are ever passing, any West Ham fans in the Lewisham area that fancy popping in there for a pint, and you may be sort of like on a match day that West Ham are on the telly and you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, this is Millwall territory. I'm not quite sure about going up to the geezer behind the bar and saying, excuse me, mate, can you put the West Ham game on in case you get your head kicked in? Well, if you go to the Lewisham Tavern, you definitely won't get your head kicked in. In fact, you'll probably get a very firm shake of the hand from the guy behind the jump, because that's probably going to be Duke. So don't forget to pop in if you are in the vicinity. Right, so the referees, the officials for tomorrow's match, as you can see there on the banner, we have Mr. Stuart Atwell, who will be on whistle duty. Flag wavers will be Darren Cann and James Mainwaring. The fourth official will be Dean Whitestone. I always feel that the fourth official, I've probably said this before, he's got the worst job of the lot, because the poor sod standing there, he doesn't make a decision really by and large, does he? All his job is to hold the board up and say how much time is at the end of each half, what the substitutes are coming on, going off. And yet he's got one manager one side of him, one manager the other side of him. It's like being between your wife and your mother-in-law, isn't it? Anyway. So Dean Whitestone is between the wife and the mother-in-law. The VAR is Andre Mariner, and his assistant is Adam Nunn. So there we go. Right, okay, I'm going to get into the comments. But for those of you watching, and there's 20 of you watching at the minute, wow, what a number. Fantastic. Tell your friends. Maybe see if we can bump that up to, I don't know, 22. Anyway, thanks to you for watching. If you are watching on either Twitter or on Facebook, do us a favour, pop across to the YouTube channel and just drop a like on stream. You can also get involved. We've got a poll that's running at the minute, and I'm just going to click across. Basically, the question I've put out there is asking you, if you were the manager, what would your starting formation be versus Everton? 4-2-3-1 is one option. The other option is 3-4-2-1. 4-3-3 is another option, and 4-4-2 is another option. Once we've got that poll closed, we'll then go on and choose the different players in the positions that the majority is going with. And just so that everybody knows where we're at right now, I've got 16 votes that have been cast. 4-3-3 is winning of a score of 50%. 4-4-2 actually has a 31%, 29 as I say that now. It's now moved. Look at that. Live streaming, what can you do? But 4-3-3 at the minute's winning. 4-2-3-1, which I think until fairly recently has been David Moyes' preferred option as a formation, that's lagging in last place at the minute with 6%. So I think that the majority of people don't want to see 4-2-3-1 tomorrow. And if it is 4-2-3-1, please not Thomas Souček alongside Declan Rice. Please, please, Mr. Moyes, please. Anyway, right, let's get into the comments and let's see who is in and amongst it. Rebecca, hope you are well. Steve, hope you're well as well. Already covered that one, matey. Good evening to you, Mr. Woodgate. Hope you are well. Few little back and forths. Charlie, I think it's usually El Sackio, so you might as we trademark El Sackio. Yeah, whatever. 3 points is everything tomorrow. Yeah, as I say, I can understand. I've had people that have said they hope West Ham, and these have died in the wall West Ham fans, and they're actually turning around and saying they hope West Ham get beat so David Moyes gets the sack. Whilst I understand the logic behind it, I absolutely can't agree with it. 3 points is absolutely everything tomorrow. Simple as that. And Steve is in agreement with that particular thinking. Just going to wind in. Charlie says, I'll be in and out in the chat. Yep, not a problem, mate. Little one, you've got to look after. It's not a problem. Trodge says he's worried about this one. Yeah, like I say, it's loser leaves town territory, mate, as far as I'm concerned. Brilliant pub, been there often, says Steve, talking about the Lewisham Tavern. Duke is a top man. He is indeed. We'll have to get up to Bandit Country one day. Oh, could be a little little trip up the A2 that is in the offing, Mr. Woodgate. You and I might have to do that one day. Duke and I both have the same favourite player. Do you now? Is that what, in the current vintage, or are we talking permanently? Because that's Mr. Julian Dix, and that is obviously your profile picture. So I'm going to guess you're talking about ever. Kent says, evening Kent, hope you are well. I want a double from Bowen on the pitch tomorrow. He's confirmed he scored a double off the pitch. Yes, indeed. He's, for those of you that don't know, he has announced, and him and his lovely girlfriend, fiance, wife to be, I don't know. I lose track of it all, to be honest with you. His other half, Danny Dyer, the female version, is expecting twins. So congratulations to them, indeed. Irish Tommy, hope you are well. A few little hellos going back and forth. David says he lives quite near that pub. We'll give it a try. David, please do. As I say, it's probably the only pub in Lewisham that you'll go in and you'll see the West Ham crest behind the jump. But I've got to be honest, whenever I've been in there, there've been Millwall fans in there, there've been Man United fans in there, but it's a really good atmosphere, I've got to say. I mean, yes, he's my mate. Yes, I'm probably going to be looking at it through rose-tinted spectacles, but I got to be honest, it's a good pub. It's a good value pub, and you'll be warmly welcomed, my friend. Please make sure you introduce yourself to Duke. Yes, the under-21s. Now, I would have been there. I actually looked at that fixture and thought, oh, I might have some of that, and then I realised that it was going to clash with this. So it is what it is. But under-21s, and obviously they've, up until quite recently, their season was really poor, really, really poor. Just at the right time, they seem to have arrested that slide, and looks like that's hopefully continuing, but it's still early days. I think they kicked off at 7 o'clock, if memory serves. So the game's only 13 minutes in, so a lot can happen, but it's a good start. Eyes not good enough to see. Yeah, it is Dixie. That is correct, Mundo. We will get into that shortly, Mark. The Danny Ings signing, we'll get into that down the track. What I'm going to do, before I go too much further, I am now going to end the poll because I would like to move on with proceedings. The winner, for those of you that don't know, was 433. 50% of the vote went 433. So from this point onwards, I'm now going to put the next part of the poll in. So bear with. And the first one we're going to start with, fairly obvious. I'm going to ask you, good people, who you think should be between the sticks. Like I say, this is not who you think Moyes will pick. This is who you would pick if you was in the dugout. Would you go Fabianski, Areola, Randolph? I'm not actually too sure what the fitness situation is with the goalkeepers. I heard a whisper, and I don't know if any of you guys have heard this. There was a whisper doing the rounds. The only fit goalkeeper, first team goalkeeper we might have might be Darren Randolph. With all due respect to him, geez, if that's the case, we're in a world of hurt. But we'll see. As I say, it was a whisper I heard. I don't know if there's any substance to it. I haven't seen anything. As I say, I've been flying around at work. It's been crazy. So we've got Fabianski, we've got Areola, we've got Randolph. To be honest with you, I'm not going to put a fourth option in. To be honest with you, I don't really see it's going to be anyone other than those three by and large. So get stuck into that, people. You've got one of three choices. We'll see how that goes and go from there. Equa scores, fantastic. He's a good player. Will he get a chance this side of the end of the season, I ask myself. Shame they stopped showing the Premier League 2 live on YouTube. Yeah, I agree, mate. And I don't understand why they don't show it. It's not Premier League football, for Christ's sakes. It's probably watched by one man and his dog by and large. So put it on YouTube. And even if the club turned around and said they'll, charge a nominal fee, I mean, probably people would sort of say, okay, if that was money that was going to, say, Iron Supporting Food Bank, if the club turned around and said, tell you what, you can pay a couple of quid to watch this under-21s match, and the entire proceeds go to Iron Supporting Food Bank. Do you know what? I'd be behind that Absolutely. Evening, Walshy. Hope you are well. It is on YouTube tonight, I think, isn't it, Trodge? I don't know. Is it? Trodge, it's on West Ham's YouTube channel. There you go. There you go. Made me look like a tit. I thought they'd stopped. Oh, hang on. No, it's all right. Yeah, don't worry. I'm thinking of something else. Right. Okay. Brain fart. Yeah, I'm sure I saw it on my home page earlier. Yeah, I'm watching it. See you there, maybe. Want Moyes to go, but we need the points. Yeah, exactly where I'm at. You know, I mean, I'm not saying anything I haven't already said. I personally think David Moyes should have gone after the Leicester game. He hasn't. He's still here. We're at the 20th day in the transfer window. We've made our first signing. Might be our only signing. Might not. Time will tell. We've got 11 days of the transfer window left. I hope we can do some business. I'd like to see some business get done at fullback, if I'm being completely honest with you. I know we've been linked with centre backs. We've been linked with Harry Maguire. I've seen other names that have been mentioned. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, there was a hot rumour at the beginning of the transfer window. That seems to have cooled off. Personally, I think it needs to be a fullback. Whether it's a right back. Personally, I'd probably say a left back, because I think Kufau, actually, to be fair to him, seems to have upped his game. 2-0. Look at that. Look at that. 2-0 up. Kent says, my thoughts on Danny Ings signing. It's a quality signing given our situation. 6 goals and 18. A fair few of them as subs appearance. Yeah, as I say, we'll get into that in due course, Mr. Kent. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. Was it a signing that at the beginning of the transfer window, I'd have said, oh, I really love to get Danny Ings as a striker? No, not really. I can't lie. But we're in the situation that we're in. I mean, 12 months ago, we didn't do any business in the transfer window. And I sat there during it and I was like, how the hell, at the time, I think we was in the top 4, right? So at the time we was challenging for Champions League football. We obviously didn't get that, we know. But at the time we was in the conversation. We was in the last 16 of a European competition at that point. London team, Premier League football, 62,000 people watching you at your home ground. And I really don't think we leveraged that to try and get people in. And obviously we've got where we are. And I'm just like, well, 12 months ago, and I know Charlie's in the chat. He knows my thoughts on this. He knows probably what I'm about to say. 12 months ago, we could have got Julian Alvarez for 14 million quid. Fast forward 12 months, we're getting Danny Ings, who's probably about 10, 11 years older, and we're paying 15 million quid. I know that obviously because of the situation we're in, players like Julian Alvarez or this year's Julian Alvarez, who's back in Argentina, if a team that's fighting relegation in the Premier League turned around to him and said, hey, do you want to come and play for us? He's probably going to turn around and say, nah, you're all right. That's fine. Anyway, right. So let's have a little look at how the poll's going. We've got 13 votes. I am going to close it in 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't done it, get yourself across to YouTube. Cast your vote on who should be the goalkeeper tomorrow. The choices are Fabianski, Areola, Randolph. Areola is absolutely roaring away with this. 77%. You've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. The door is shut. So the starting goalkeeper tomorrow, as per the Force from Iron audience, is Mr. Areola. Mr. Areola. There you go, nonetheless. Right. Okay. So we will start. We'll go left back. So your choices will be, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, Mr. Cresswell. We will have Mr. Palmieri. Should I give you anyone else? Should I give you Johnson or should I sling him over to the right? I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go with those two. We're just going to go with Emerson or Cresswell. Over to you, ladies and gentlemen. Get stuck into that. I'm just going to go through a few more of your comments as we go. Mr. Tit in goal, says Mr. Kent. 2-0. Mubama, love it. Great. Swire just set up a lovely goal for Mubama. I'll have to watch it later. Pierre going Sunderland. Also, he's going to join Alesse on. Is that alert? I'm hoping that's a loan. Yeah, he's just confirmed it in the loan, but that was last week. Yeah, to be honest, I've not been that abreast with a lot of the stuff that's been going on. I have been right. Back the truck up. Okay. My week didn't start so great. I had a funeral, family funeral. very close member of family that I said my goodbyes to. They'll always be with me. So yeah, other things have got in the way this week, guys. So I'm maybe not as abreast on certain things that have gone on in the world of football and stuff like that. Had other things on my mind, to be perfectly honest with you. But there you go. Has Dawson gone yet? I think he has, Mark. That's what I've been led to believe. We're crying out for a left back. Yes, we are, Steve. We absolutely are. As I say, out of the two positions, I think that at the minute, I think Kufal for me, and I don't know if you guys might agree or disagree, but I think that Kufal's level of performance has gone on an upward trajectory. Not massively, not hugely. He's not at the level he was 2 seasons ago. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that, but he just seems to have got a little bit more traction about him. That's how I see it. I am really concerned about Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell seems to basically, since we've come back, seems to have gone off a cliff. It's crazy. Jed Spence, if we're going to play wing backs, would be perfect on loan from the white side of North London, which is probably why it won't happen, Kent. Hammers89, hope you are well. No need to apologise. No need to apologise at all. Who's this Zanilo? I have no clue whatsoever, my friend. If we play wing backs, we need another centre back, though, surely. Well, you could play Kehrer there. I'd probably put it this way. I'd rather put Kehrer at centre back than I would at full back, left or right. Isn't Randolph in goal tomorrow as Fab and Areola are both injured? As I say, that's what I heard a whisper about that, mate. I did hear that Randolph might be the starting goalkeeper. I've not had anything that anyone has been able to definitively point to and say they're out. The pair of them are out. I mean, look, tell you what. Before I go on too much, let's have a little look. I've got a team news here. Now, the website I use, just so you guys know what I'm referencing, is Sportsmole, rightly or wrongly. That is what I've decided to utilize. And just in case anybody doesn't know the form of our opponents tomorrow, it's just as bad as ours. If you look at their last 6, it's 5 defeats and a draw, exactly the same as ours. The only thing that you can look at the forms, if you sort of factor in all competitions, we have got 1 win in that, which was obviously the game against Brentford in the FA Cup. They haven't got any wins in their last 6 in all competitions. It's defeat, defeat, draw, defeat, defeat, defeat. Done. So, anyway, Danny Ings has obviously come in, as we know. There was obviously talk about maybe Gianluca Scamacca fitness injury might be sort of worse than people first thought. All the rest of it, we're really only going to know whether it's smoke and mirrors at 2 p.m. tomorrow, I guess. I haven't heard David Moyes' press conference, so I've got no idea if any little nuggets of information came out there. So you'll have to forgive me. As I say, it's been a really busy day, so it is what it is. So obviously we know that Antonio and Scamacca, between the pair of them, they've only scored 5 goals in the Premier League this season. And Jared Bowen has only scored once from open play. Well, it appears that at home he was doing a bit more scoring, but that's another story. Also, and this is kind of why I'm in the last week, I've maybe had a little bit more faith that actually, do you know, we might have a shot at getting out of this. Is defensively we're the best team in the bottom half of the Premier League. Now, all right, we're in the bottom half of the Premier League. Oh, whoop-de-doo. In fact, we were in the bottom 3. Great. But we've got the best defensive record of any team from 11th down to 20th. And I think that if you can keep defensively, if you can keep the odd clean sheet here or there, you give yourself a chance of at least getting a point. It says here on this article that the only absentee for us is expected to be Maxwell Cornet, who we obviously know about. It goes on to say, this article, that Everton are expected to go with a back 5 again. We'll see, despite the defeat against Southampton, given how well it has worked when playing away from home. So we might have to try and crack a back 5. The only place up for grabs in attack, this article says, where Dominic Calvert-Lewin's continued poor form could lead Frank Lampard to look at other options, namely being Neil Maupay or Ellis Sims are possible options for that particular berth. But I've got a funny feeling it'll probably be Dominic Calvert-Lewin that will start, but we'll see. It goes on to say that Andros Townsend and James Garner are back in training, but they won't feature in the team for another week or two as yet. Right, that's that little bit of nonsense out of the way. Or are we relying on Kehrer? Right, I'm going to stop the left back poll now. So Wow. Now that I wasn't expecting. Right. I'm going to end it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 75% of you have gone for Emerson. Wow. Wasn't expecting that to be so much in Emerson's favour, to be fair. But you guys have spoken, and that is what we're going to go with. So now, start the poll for right back. And your options, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be Kufal. And should I give you Kehrer as well as Johnson? Should I give you 3 options? I'm debating. Let's see, because Dawson's out the door. So we've got Ogbonna, we've got Aguerd, we've got Zuma. I think Zuma will be all right for tomorrow. I'll tell you what, I'll leave Kehrer as a centre back. I'll have him as a centre back option. So you got 2 options at right back, guys. That being Kufal and Johnson. So get stuck in. And as I say, if you're watching it on Twitter, if you want to get involved in this, if you're watching it on Twitter or watching it on Facebook, jump across to the YouTube channel and cast your vote. Have your say. Craven, just seen a training video and Randolph was training hard and didn't see the other 2. Again, it could be smoke and mirrors. There might be something into it. We're only going to know at 2 o'clock tomorrow, mate. So we'll wait and see. All things are possible. Liking, should have got him years ago. Yeah, he's going to be 31, in June, July, I think it is. Let me just have a look. He turns 31 on the 23rd of July. I mean, look, he's still got a bit of mileage in the a little bit of gas in the tank. He can still do a job. And I've got to be honest. I have to be honest. When people said Danny Ings, my first thought was, he's injury prone, isn't he? Yeah, but that was quite a while ago. He's actually been fairly reliable. It's probably a bit like Antonio. You think Antonio and you go, yeah, his hamstring's going every 5 minutes. Well, in the last season and a half, he's actually been pretty robust by comparison. Danny Ings is the same. But you look at his injury record, it's not as bad in the last couple of years as you think. I was surprised. Bet Moyes leaves Ings on the bench and starts Antonio. He might start Ings at right back. How about that? Rob says Swire is class. Thank you, Steve. Do appreciate it. Listen, you probably know who it was. All I can say is that for the majority of their life, they were in good nick. The last couple of months weren't very nice to see, but yeah, it is what it is, mate. I'm trying to focus on the positives, you know what I mean? Because if I focus on the last 6 months, it'd break my heart, honestly. So I'm going to focus on the other 90 odd years of their life. Hammer 89, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. It really does mean a lot. Irish Tommy says, if we're going to sign a left back, would love for the Ajax youngster. Very good, Tommy. You nearly got me. You nearly got me, you little rascal. I nearly called you a rude word there, but I don't want to upset people. So I'll just got to say you're a very naughty man. Very naughty man, Mr. Tom. Sorry for your loss, mate. Hope things can go. Catch up with you tomorrow, hopefully. Yep, I'll be there, mate. So I'll be on the boats either before and or after. Trosh says he agrees about Kufal. Yeah, as I say, I thought he'd picked up his performances of late. And I'm not for 1 minute suggesting he's the Kufal of 2 years ago. I'm not. Still deficiencies in his game, but I just look and go, compared to where he was and he got dropped and this, that, and the other, he's much better. I really don't think we can let him go to Bayer Leverkusen. I'm hearing they're still sniffing around. I think if he lets Kufal go in his current form and he puts Thilo Kehrer there, I'm concerned. I am concerned. Kent says, Johnson left back if we're playing a flat back 4. I take it you're referring to what I've in the poll. Well, anyway, I am going to end the poll at right back now. I probably should have done a countdown, but stuff it, it's done now. I've pressed the button. Kufel wins that particular battle by 76% to 23. So now, bear with me, people. I am now going to put in your centre-back choices. Centre-back pairings. Right. Okay. So, first option I'm going to put out for you, ladies and gentlemen, is Naya for Gerd. Because they don't pronounce the D, do they? I've noticed that. Naya Agur, or Nathan, that's what David Moyes calls him, and Kurt Zuma. I think Zuma will be all right for tomorrow. I really do. But if he isn't, Agur and Ogbonna. Is it going to be Agur and Kera? God help us. Or could it even be Ogbonna and Zuma? No care, no Aguerd. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I could have been really nasty and put Ogbonna and Kera. I thought, Jesus Christ, that wouldn't have got anyone voting for it. So I've gone Ogbonna and Zuma as the fourth option. Just for a wild card. Why not? So get voting. As I say, if any of you are watching this on Twitter, on Facebook, get yourself across to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Right as we speak, as far as that's concerned, we've got 20. All right. So there's 34 of you watching at this moment in time. So there's at least 14 of you that haven't put a like on the stream on YouTube. So if you could do that, honestly, you've got no idea how much that helps the channel out. It really does push the old algorithms along. It doesn't cost you anything. It really doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't actually cost you anything to subscribe. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but if you weren't sure, it doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe to any YouTube channel to the best of my knowledge. So if you're here, why not hit the subscribe button? And that little bell that's next to it, when we go live, when we upload any content, recordings, whatever, player interviews, all that sort of stuff. We got plenty of Q&As that we've done with West Ham players and a former coach as well in Tony Carr. Have a look. Have a look at our back catalogue. There's plenty of stuff there for you to get your teeth into. Anyway, let's have a look at the comments. So Kufau's solid enough. He's one of the few players up for the fight. Yeah, exactly. He's got a little bit about him. Charlie says he wants Cresswell nowhere near that team. Mark says, think Fab has... Okay, not quite sure. Oh, think Fab has been training. Sorry, I've seen your subsequent comment. Same predictable 11 tomorrow. Well, only one person knows that, mate. I'm hoping not. I dare say that you're the same as me, and you're like, please no, please no, please do something. You know, I want to see a 4-3-3. I'm a big advocate of 4-3-3. And I think that Ings should play. If you've chased this guy and you've got him in through the door, you've submitted the paperwork in time. This is a goal scorer, and he's actually, as I say, I'll be honest, probably a better goal scorer than I originally gave him credit for. I looked at his stats and I sort of went, well, he's about a 1 in every 4 striker, but when you actually look at it on a minutes per goal, it changes because he then goes from being a 1 in 4 type of ratio striker. On a minute-by-minute basis, he's more like a goal every 2.3 games or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's... if he can, providing he keeps fit, and I'm saying that touching wood, providing he keeps fit, he could get 8 to 10 goals if we get... but we need to give him the service, and that's the important thing. If we're sort of doing the same old pedestrian bullshit that we've been doing this season of plod, and the back line gets into position and they're all sort of marked up, and it's like, now you're just making life difficult for yourself. It's like you've got to play a quick ball in, get it to feet, whatever, just in front of the striker. You know, how does Danny Ings like the ball? Right. Okay. That's how he likes the ball played into him. So let's just keep pumping the ball into where the areas where he's gonna sort of like reap dividends. So sitting on the fence. Charlie never sits on the fence, especially not after what happened last time. Trudge says we'll get relegated with Kera at centre-back, in my opinion. We'll probably get relegated with him at full-back as well. I mean, listen, he only came in, with all due respect, the only reason he came in is because of the injury to Naya Fagur, right? If he didn't get injured, Kera would not be a West Ham player. I'm pretty convinced of that. Trudge also goes on to say, look how well Diop is playing now. And again, I can't disagree with that, mate. I liked him. Any news on Cornet, says Steve? Well, again, I heard a rumour, and I don't know if it's fact or fiction. I don't know if there's any substance to it. I heard a whisper he might have to retire. Now, that could be complete bullshit. I've got no idea. But I have seen that put out there by someone. It's probably bollocks, but that would be such a West Ham thing to have happen, wouldn't it? Right. I am going to have a look. Right. We've got, oh, look at that. It's 100% for Agur and Zuma. Is there any point in me keeping that poll open for any longer? Probably not. So I'm going to end that one. So we're going, so far we've got Areola in goal. We've got Emerson at left back. We've got Kufal at right back. And we've got a centre back pairing of Agur and Zuma. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you, of the three-man midfield, who is your DM? And I think this will probably be cut and dried. I think. Your options will be, ladies and gentlemen, Rice, the lamppost, known as Thomas Souček. I'll put Connor Coventry in there as well. But I will also put Mr. Flynn Downs. You never know. Flynn Downs might actually win this. And then I might have to go with Rice as one of the central mids. I doubt it. You might surprise me, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, get stuck into that. As I say, 37 of you watching. I've got 24 likes on YouTube at the minute. If you haven't done it already, please go onto the YouTube channel, pop a like on it. As I say, it doesn't cost you anything. Helps the channel out tremendously. Thank you very much for your help. And if you haven't done so, please make sure you subscribe. Plug. Hammer89 says, Kerr's okay at centre-back. Can't blame him for Moyes playing him at left-back. Yeah, I mean, look, he did a job there. He could have turned around and gone, mate, I'm not a left-back. What are you putting me there for? I'd rather be on the bench. He didn't. Okay, I'll give him credit for that. Playing him at left-back was on David Moyes, it has to be said. But he didn't look very good there. I hope not to see him there again, and I hope you're the same. Zuma is back. Yes. Never heard of Cornet. No, he's getting a dim and distant memory now, isn't he? I hope that rumor I heard about him having to retire ain't true. Because if we, in what that limited time we saw of Maxwell Cornet, I thought he was really effective. I know some of those games were in Conference League and the standard wasn't very good and blah, blah, blah. But the Chelsea game away, come off the bench. He hit the post with a header. I don't think it was the easiest header in the world. And he's not really a player that's renowned for his aerial prowess. Let's be honest about it. It's not like he's prime Andy Carroll or Duncan Ferguson, for Christ's sakes. He hit the post. It's not like he put it 10 feet wide. And then obviously there was the goal that we all know got wrongly chalked off because poor old Mendy, is it Edouard Mendy? Yeah, him. Got brushed by Jared Bowen studs, and it's like, oh, dislocate my shoulder. I don't know if that's how he talks. It's probably not how he talks. He's not Italian. So, Andy, the player, not the type with sprinkles and a fake. Craven goes on to say, Ings has 7 goals, 3 assists versus Everton. Yes, he does. Yeah, he's got a good record against them. Like I say, hope he plays. Oh, please. He can't start him on the bench, for Christ's sake. He seriously can't. In a game that he absolutely has to win. He cannot put Danny Ings on the bench. You just can't. You need a goal. You brought him in for his goals. You have to play him. I think he is a flake. Okay, fair enough. Cress's hit the wall, should no longer start. He's 31, not an OAP. Well, he's young compared to me and you, mate. That's for sure. Ings in goal. Fair enough. Mubama getting closer to another. Again, this is a player that I want to see given an opportunity. I want to see this kid on the bench. I want to see Scholes on the bench as much as possible. And even if they have no involvement in the match, which I hope they do when the situation is right, but just that experience of traveling with the squad, the warm-up, all of the bits and pieces around the periphery, it will stand them in good stead. It really will. Right. Okay. So back to business. I'm going to close in about 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Your choices for defensive midfield, Rice, Souček, Coventry and Downs. I've given you 4 options. You've basically made it a 2-horse race. It's between Rice and Downs. Souček hasn't got a vote. Neither has Coventry. Can't say I was entirely shocked, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of choice, ladies and gentlemen. Don't say I didn't do you a favour. But this has been resoundingly won by Mr. Declan Rice. Probably not an entire shock to you guys. He's got 83% of the vote, with Flynn Downs taking the remaining 16% that you guys have put out there. So now, next question I'm going to ask you. Central midfield pairing. Now, right, so the options will be Paquetá and Souček. Paquetá and Fornals. Souček and Fornals. Or, tell you what, who should I put in there? So I'm gonna go. I'll give you the option of Paquetá, and I'll tell you. I'll give Downs a chance alongside Paquetá. What do you reckon? Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll go with that. He probably won't win. I think probably the winning partnership here. I reckon I'm going to have a little sportsman's bet that it's going to be Paquetá and Fornals that will probably win the day. But it might be that you guys might think, no, Paquetá and Downs. In fact, looking here, that's gone into an early... that's level now. Right, okay. I'll let this unfold. I'll carry on waffling for a bit. Trodge, I'd rather Mubama on the bench than Antonio. Well, I mean, is he going to be here for much longer? I really don't know. What time for the boats? Oh, I haven't even looked at the train table. Teeth back in, engaged brain. Timetables for the trains, mate. So I'm not entirely what time I'm going to get there. Probably about 1 o'clock, I reckon. 1-ish, Steve, for me. Oh, okay. Do you frequent the Hammers Chat boats? Do you come over and say hello? I don't bite, honestly. Not usually anyway, unless I'm very hungry. But they sell burgers, so I'd probably eat that, not you. So you're safe. Under 21s and 18 showing first team how to play football. Ekwa and Mubama 2-0 against Man United. 28 minutes gone. Good to hear, Pete. Keep us abreast with that. I'm probably a little bit behind on the comments because I'm waffling and I'm sort of doing all sorts of bits and pieces in the background that you probably don't even know. I'm like a swan, you know. It's sort of like on the surface, it's serene, bobbing along, seems like it's quite genteel. Underneath, going absolutely like the clappers. Well, Larry, hope you're well, mate. Hope you are well, all the way from Lexington, Kentucky. We've gone transatlantic. Falls from Iron is transatlantic. Look at that. Beautiful. Peter says, you voting for what Moyes will do or what you want? Whatever you want. These votes are always you. You, the viewer. You, the Forge from Iron subscriber. Who do you want in these particular roles? We started it off with asking the question of formation. The winning formation was 4-3-3. So having then decided we're going 4-3-3, everything from there is then on that basis. So far, we've got a 4-3-3 with Areola in goal, Emerson at left back, Kofal at right back with a centre-back pairing of Aguirre and Zuma. Declan Rice is the defensive mid, and we are now onto the central midfield pairing, which I will be ending very shortly. If you are watching this on Twitter, if you are watching us on Facebook, get yourself across onto YouTube. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream and put your vote in within the next 10 seconds, because in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to be closing the door. And at the minute, the partnership that I thought was going to win it is winning it, but it's really close. And if it shuts in the next sort of minute or two, it might change, but I'm going to give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the winner is exactly what I thought. But I'll tell you what, it was close. Paquetá and Fornals got 52% of the vote. Paquetá and Downs got 39%, with Paquetá and Souček getting 4%, same as Souček and Fornals. I think it's fairly safe to say that Souček is... he's not exactly very popular at the minute, bless him. Oh, it's such a shame. Right, okay. So I'm going to do this in old money. So I'm going to ask you the question, ladies and gentlemen, who do you want at inside left? Your options will be Ben Rama. I'll put Fornals in there. I know he's one of the central midfield options, but, you know, he didn't get picked, so he's available. Who else could we have at inside left? Not Cornet, obviously. I'll tell you what, I'll give you Ollie Scarles just for, you know, a little bit of variety. Is there anyone else I could put there? No, I'll tell you what, we'll go with them three as your options. I mean, personally, I think this one's a no-brainer for me. That's just my opinion. You guys might have a different point of view on it. Anyway, I'm going to carry on through the chat and see what you guys have been chucking at me in the interim. And please get as many as you possibly can. I'll try and get to as many of them as possible. My team for tomorrow, says Hammer89, would be Areola, Kufau, Zuma, Aguirre, Emerson, Rice, Paquetá, Fornals. Well, so far, it's the same as everybody else here has gone, pretty much the public vote. His front three would be Ben Rama, Bowen, Ings. I tell you what, mate, I hope we see something like that. Irish Tommy says, before you go, can you give us your score prediction for L what? Are you allowed to say that nowadays? Are you I think with all the politically correct, you know, mob that's out there, you know what I mean? You know the sort that I'm talking about. Most of them are vegan, you know the sort. Most of them. Not all vegans are assholes, but you know, there's a lot of them. Are you allowed to say that? I'm not sure. I'd probably get told off. I'd probably get cancelled. You get cancelled for that sort of stuff, don't you? You say the wrong word, you're cancelled. Done. So I can't say that word. But if we're talking about the game tomorrow, I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a classic. I think it's going to be two teams that are going to be, yeah, knowing that the importance of this fixture, it's so vital for both teams and for both managers. I think it's going to be, there's going to be times where one team's under pressure, the other team's under pressure. I don't think one team will exert dominance over the other for the majority of the 90. I just don't. I think, to be fair, these are two very poor teams. No, actually, no. I'm going to, not two very poor teams. I think it's one very poor team, and they're the team from Merseyside, with all due respect. Sorry. Against a team that is better than that, but they're playing down their capabilities. They're for whatever reason, they've not gelled, they've not clicked, whether it's tactical, whether it's whatever, I don't know. It's just sort of two teams that are sort of like in a bad moment in their history. But I think we're going to win. I think the fact that we defensively are actually pretty good. I think Aguirre is obviously come in. He looks the part. He really does, as far as I'm concerned. He's a ball playing centre back, but he can, you know, he can tackle, he can intercept, he can head. He's a really good player, and I just hope we can keep everybody fit. We can get Zuma back. I think centrally we're strong. Rice just in front. Whether you put Fabianski, whether you put Areola, I think that central part of the sort of like the back line and the defensive mid, strong. It's round the side that I've got the concern. It's Cresswell, mainly on the left, if I'm being honest. I suppose like left back, I probably could have chucked Masuaku in, but I don't think anyone would have voted for him. Then again, I'm not entirely sure. I thought that Emerson was going to take 75% of the vote. Shows you what I know. How's the weather in Lexington? It's cold over here, inquires Mr. Steve. I'm sure Sullivan would try and charge people who subscribe to the official YouTube channel if he could. You're probably right. Anything for a copper coin. True Cockney says, I'll give it a like, but do you benefit from the likes? Does it give you anything? Not financially, and to be honest with you, mate, we don't earn fuck all off of this. In fact, if I'm being completely honest with you, doing this YouTube channel, it's actually a cost to me, because I've got to pay for the StreamYard that I use to run this. So any money that we get, we're not West Ham Fan TV, we're not Hammers Chat. I don't do this for a living. We don't have a merchandise store. I haven't got a sponsorship on this channel. None of that bollocks. This is just Duke and I. We're just doing it because we want to do it. We said we started this during lockdown. It was on a bit of a whim. We just sort of like did what we did, and we've carried it on, and we're here nearly 2 years later. We're not doing it for any sort of financial gain, that's for sure, because we're losing money on it, if I'm being honest. That's fine, not a problem. No one's forcing us to do it with a gun against our head. But it does help. It does help because as far as YouTube's concerned, it's all to do with algorithms and this, that, and the other. Don't ask me. I don't understand it. I'm 47 years of age. I haven't got a clue about a lot of this stuff. Algorithms? What the hell's that? That's some sort of software, sort of techno speak bollocks. I haven't got a clue. But it helps get the channel out there to people that otherwise might not see. So please, as many as you can put a like on it. Like I say, it's literally just click, thumbs up. Jobs are good. And I've got 33 likes at the minute. I've got 46 people watching. Please, if you haven't, could you please do that? That is absolutely fantastic. Haven't got any teeth. Could be difficult. Peter says, Walcrest needs to stay on the blotting paper and nowhere near the pitch. Well said. And you started shouting though, Pete. Ings can also create chances for himself, which the other two can't. Yep, I got you. Steve says, I don't want Souček to start, but I bet he does. And that, I got to be honest with you, mate, that is my concern. You know, none of us here want Souček. With all due respect to Thomas Souček, the Thomas Souček of a season or two ago, fine. The Thomas Souček right now, for whatever reason, and I don't entirely blame him, I do hold David Moyes responsible for this. But this is not the same Thomas Souček. Yep, we've covered that a little bit earlier. Congratulations to them. And I can tell you now, that is not going to be easy. She's already got a little boy from a previous relationship, hasn't she? This will be Jared's first child. This will be their first children together. I am a father of twins, right? I can tell you now that is gonna be really tough on them. And Danny Dyer might think because she's had a kid before that she's got experience and this, that, and the other. Mate, this is a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. You know, one will wake up crying in the middle of the night, and then you'll get up and you'll placate that one, and and then the other one starts off. So the best thing, if there's any chance that Danny Dyer or Jared Bowen's watching this, if you are, the one piece of advice I would give you, and the one piece of advice I would give anyone that's got twin babies, right? If one of them wakes up during the night and needs a feed, wake the other one up and feed that one as well. I guarantee you, right? We did it with our twins. They hit 6 weeks, went straight through. Fantastic. Whereas when you got one crying and you think, oh no, I'll leave the other one sort of thing. You feed the one that's crying. You put that one down. That one starts crying. You can't function. You can't sleep. You will be a zombie. Best thing you can do is wake the other one up while you're at it. Feed them both. Twins 101. There you go. Public service broadcasting. I think Kera will still come good. Maybe he will. I can't say I've been overly impressed with him, Steve. Even in the games where people have said he's played well, I've still looked at him and gone, he had a couple of ricks in him, let's be fair. Cornet to retire from being injured. Yeah, like I say, I've heard that whisper, mate. I've heard that whisper, and I hope for his sake, and I hope for our sake primarily, it ain't right, but I've heard that whisper. Right, I am gonna shut the poll on the inside left. The player that I thought was going to win it has absolutely smashed it. Benny's on 88%. Skulls, 11%. He actually beat Fornals. Nobody wants to see Fornals inside left. To be fair, given that if he was on the grassy knoll in 1963 in Dallas, Kennedy would have survived. Guaranteed. And I love Pablo Fornals. I love him for his work ethic. I love him for his bubbly personality. I love him for the fact that he loves the East End of London. He loves West Ham, all the rest of it. But he can't shoot for toffee, that boy. Honestly, he really can't. Jesus. Anyway, right. So inside right, your options are soon to be father of twins, Jared Bowen. Who could we put on the right? I suppose you could put Fornals on. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you Fornals to choose again, and you probably won't. You probably all sit there and go, bollocks, I'll choose someone else. Who else could I put on the right? Should I just go with those two? Fornals and Bowen? I can't really think of anyone else who you could put there. I suppose you could put Ben Johnson there, but it's not his position. You probably wouldn't want him there. So Mandy's just put. I've just seen there. She's put Downs. I'll tell you what. Go on. Just for a little bit of shithousery. I think Bowen's going to smash this. Don't really think this is a. I could have put Antonio, but I think he's out the door, and I'll probably have him as one of the centre forward options anyway. So get stuck into that. I've got a funny feeling Bowen might well win it. Peter says he wasn't surprised. We have 99 problems. Yeah, fair. All the ice cream jokes are coming out. They're all coming out. Everton fan, good evening. Mate, you boys are suffering. And do you know what? Everton were one of the first big teams when I was growing up, 85, 87, the two titles that you won. You won the 85 Cup, Winners' Cup, 84, I think it was 84 FA Cup against Watford. And then, yeah, great team. Neville Southall, Kevin Ratcliffe, Kevin Sheedy, Graham Sharp, Gary Lineker for a season, Andy Gray for back, sort of like the early part of that. Brilliant team. What the hell's happened to your club? Honestly, financial mismanagement, just absolute fucking. Honestly, I don't know what they've done to your club, mate. Honestly, I thought we was in bad shape. I look at Everton and go, ooh. Listen, Larry, we welcome all. If we got Everton fans in, if we got Man United fans in, I don't care. If everyone's friendly and everyone's sort of like having a good time and maybe a little bit of banter, nothing nasty. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. One family, the football family. They were attacking players though. Well, some of them were. They were going a little bit. Look, I don't want to see any of that, but there's certain things that have gone on at that club, mate. Honestly, there's some bad mismanagement at Everton Football Club that's been going on for a number of years. They've got a new stadium that's being built. Bramley Dock, I think, from memory. Hopefully, they can survive the Premier League, go to that stadium and hopefully kick on. I believe they're building a football stadium, surprisingly, unlike what we've got. But that's another story. I probably ought to leave it there. Anyway, a few little welcomes. Hello, evening, Rich. At least we get the insurance money if he has to retire, don't we? You'd think so, but, this is a player that I think would be really beneficial in terms of pace, which is the one ingredient I think that we lack massively is pace. Raw, sheer, unadulterated speed. It's one thing we ain't got. And Cornet does provide that. He does provide that. Not at the minute. That's why I want to see him back. Right. Okay. So I'm going to have a little look. We've got 23 votes. We have got 48 if you're watching. If you ain't watching on YouTube, get yourself across to YouTube from Twitter, from Facebook, whatever. When you're there, drop a like on the stream and put your vote in. We are going to shut that in approximately 10 seconds. At the minute, Bowen's pretty handily winning this. Bowen, 67%, Fornals 25%, 8% for Downs. It's not his position. Didn't expect him to get anywhere, but I saw Mandy sort of said Downs. I thought, fuck it, I'll give it. Put it in there. Put it this way, he's got 8%. It's more than Fornals got on the inside left. Nobody voted for him. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boff. 67% of you have gone for 66, it says now, have gone for Jared Bowen, with 25 for Fornals, 8% for Flynn Downs. Right, that leaves us, ladies and gentlemen, with the striker options. Now, I don't think he'll play, but I will include Scamacca, just in case he is fit enough. I don't think he will be. I will include Antonio. I don't think he'll be involved. Not from the start. I will include, and I know he's playing at the minute, but you never know. Divine Mubama. But I can't not include the guy that we have been chasing for the last couple of days, Mr. Daniel Ings, formerly of Aston Villa, formerly of Southampton, formerly of Liverpool, Burnley, etc., etc. You get the idea. Get your votes in. Under 21s are live on YouTube. Yes, they are, True Cockney. Yeah, we've been through that a little bit earlier there. 2-0 up, I do believe. You can correct me if that is incorrect. A lamppost switches on sometimes. Harsh, Tommy. Harsh, but not probably untrue. Martin, hope you're well, mate. Thanks for popping along. Do appreciate it. Mark, hope you are well. Moyes will play Ings as a lone poacher. I think I'd like to think he'll play. Whether he'll be on his own, I hope not. I think that he will probably need a little bit of support around him. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've got a funny feeling that when he was playing for Villa, certainly under Gerrard, they played as a 4-3-3 there, didn't they? So will Moyes do it, though? We'll see. 2-0 West Ham. Yes, indeed. I'd play Mubama v Derby. Yeah, why not? Why not? Fortune favours the brave. Will Moyes actually start Ings? Possibly at right back, Mark. No, he's got to start him. And he's been chasing him for ages. And he needs goals. He needs goals. We're capable at the back. You look at our goals against column. It's the best of the teams that are in the bottom half. Yes, that's not setting the bar very high, but we do defensively. We are one of the better teams that's down there. In fact, we are the best team at this precise moment in time that's in the bottom half of the Premier League table. We need to score goals. That's been our weakness. That's why David Moyes has gone out and bought a goal scorer. Fingers crossed he can do just that. Stephen, hope you're well, mate. Hope you are well. 3 points indeed are a must. Ekwas had a great game tonight. 1 goal and an assist for Mubama. So would I. Ings will start on the bench. Moyes is saying he's not match fit already. Oh, you are joking. Alexander, no. Oh, as I say, if you've just jumped in, mate, I've had a bit of a turbulent week, one thing and another. Today's been really hectic. If that's what he said, oh, for God's sake. Seriously? And then obviously Larry goes on to say 72nd minute, by which time we're probably chasing the game. Hey, Simon, hope you are well. Yeah, getting there. Getting there, I think, is the answer to that particular question. Willing start against Everton? Well, I'm hearing that he's not match fit already. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, I'm not being funny, right? David Moyes needs to save his job, right? This guy's a goal scorer. We need to score goals. We've been chronically short of goals all season, right? You could get him through the door. He doesn't kick a fucking ball for you. He ends up getting the sack, and then the next manager comes in. And now who's to say that Danny Ings is going to be stylistically what the new manager is after? Let's say it's Rafa Benitez. He might well look at Danny Ings and go, you're not for me. He needs to start. He needs to start. He needs to score goals. We need the 3 points tomorrow. No ifs, no buts. Done. If Antonio wants to leave when we're fighting relegation, ship him off ASAP. Some people ain't got bollocks, have they, mate? That's pretty much the way it works, Mandy. He needs a set of bollocks. He's not prepared to work. And the thing that really annoys me, I don't know about you guys, he turned around last season and said about he needed help, this, that, and the other. Okay, we'll get you help. We'll get Skamaka in. But that's going to mean that your game time has been reduced, mate. Oh, I'm not happy with that. I want to go. He's been a great servant for us. Don't misunderstand me, but I just find that a little bit weird. There you go. Mubama won't be on the bench tomorrow. But Mandy, he might. He might. I mean, I'm not being funny. There's been games before where the under-21s, the under-18s have played the day before a first-team match, and they've been on the bench. I mean, what was it? Was it the Brentford game? I think the under-21s played the day before in the cup, this is, and Kamari Simon Swire and Divine Mubama were both on the bench. So they might be. I hope so. I'll say, you know my feelings on it, guys. If you've been around long enough, you know. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a massive advocate of the Academy of Football. I do think that we have been negligent in the last few years of trying to live up to that particular tag. And it really does my nut in. But I think that, for me, any manager we have from this point onwards needs to be aligned with that particular ethos. And if they're not, and if David Sullivan's not going to pursue that, or whoever's the chairman of the club, then as far as I'm concerned, get rid of that thing at the side of the pitch, because it becomes a fucking embarrassment as far as I'm concerned. Right. Do you need to be a member to get on the boat? No, not necessarily. I've got a season ticket there. I have got a season ticket. So I just rock up, I give them my name, and I'm on. If you haven't got a season ticket, that doesn't preclude you from going necessarily, but you're going to have to sort of put a few bob in the bucket. Normally, the bucket is donations for the charity that we support here. I'm supporting Food Bank, and Hammers Chat are also big supporters of it, much bigger supporters than we are, let's be completely honest with you. They've got, on one channel, they've got 30,000 subscribers. On the next one, they've got 20,000 subscribers, whatever. We've got 1,500. Funny story about that. The 1,500 subscriber, and they might be watching right now, I don't know, was actually a customer that I went to at a job in Brockley, sort of near New Cross, Lewisham, that sort of direction. And it was funny. I went in. They had a wallet sitting there. We were just chatting about, I was there to do a repair on a fridge freezer, right? He had a wallet on the breakfast bar. I looked and I could see the West Ham crest embossed. And I went, "Oh, you got a West Ham fan in here?" He went, "Yeah, it's me." And of course, we then started having a little chat about football, completely not really too interested in the fridge, to be honest. Let's chat about sort of David Moyes and all that. So we was having a little bit of back and forth. And of course, as I was leaving, I turned around and said, "Oh, if ever you're on YouTube, have a little look for our YouTube channel." And he went, "I'll tell you what." And he went, "Bosh." And we went from 14.99 to 1,500. There you go. And I've also recommended Duke's Pub as well. So Duke might be getting an extra patron in, although his pub's been doing really well. He's actually broke the record back to back of takings that pub's done in the last however long. I mean, he's only been there for just over a year now, and he in the last week he broke his record, and then he broke that record a week later. Crazy. Under 21s subs are Scarlet, Knightbridge, Occo, Flex, Marshall, and Chester's. Free Ben Rama, says Simon. And I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. Right. Okay. We've got 26 votes. I am going to finish that vote in probably about the next 10 seconds. So if any of you are watching on Twitter, watching on Facebook, get yourself over to YouTube, put your vote in. Who's the centre forward? Who is your centre forward? You watching right now, if you were in the dugout, David Moyes, you are now. You've done you remember Quantum Leap? Any of you old ones? Quantum Leap? Bosh. You are now in David Moyes' body. You are going to pick the team. Who are you picking? You've got 4 choices and you've got 10 seconds to make it. You've got Ings, you've got Mubama, you've got Antonio, you've got Skamaka. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bosh. Resounding win, ladies and gentlemen. Not even close. 84% of you have gone Danny Ings. So I hope for your sake he is match fit and ready, because otherwise we've got someone playing up top that 84% of you guys are not going to be very happy with. So there you go. So let's go through it again. You, the Falls from Iron viewer, and thank you for watching. We do appreciate it. You chose a 4-3-3 formation to go against Everton tomorrow at London Stadium. Your goalkeeper was Alphonse Areola. Your left back was Emerson Palmieri. Your right back was Vladimir Kufal. Your centre-back pairing was Naya Fagur and Kurt Zuma. Your defensive midfielder was Declan Rice. Your central midfield pairing was Lucas Paquetá and... Did you go Flynn Downs? I've got a brain fart. I'm going to have a look. I'm pretty sure you went... Or was it? No, it was Fornals, wasn't it? Excuse me. Yeah, you chose Paquetá and Fornals. Your inside left was Benny. Your inside right was the soon-to-be father of twins, Jared Bowen. And your centre forward was Danny Ings. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is you watching at home, you, the Forge from Iron viewer, that is your pick for the team tomorrow. And you know what? It's almost what I would pick. The one thing that I'm possibly, and I don't know, Emerson's the one that I'm looking at and going, I'm not sure if I was picking the team whether I'd put him at left back. Would I put Cresswell? Probably not. I'd be tempted to put Ben Johnson there, and I'd be tempted to say to him, you give me a performance, sunshine, that's your shirt, until such time as you fuck things up as monumentally as Aaron's done recently. And then I might have to sort of think about it. Kent says, Bowen left, Benny right, Ing central. That is exactly what we've got. And Simon's gone 2-0 to West Ham. 2-0 to West Ham. I think it's going to be 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1. You guys get your comments in, just sort of like your score predictions. Slam them in. We'll get to them. Steve has also gone 2-0. As I say, I think 2-1. I think we're possibly going to concede, but it might be late, by which time it's a bit of an irrelevance. Bowen left would be good. Yeah, orthodox winger. I haven't got a problem with that. I mean, personally, and I used to do it when I was coaching teams. Not that I've ever coached at a Premier League level. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that. But I used to do it. I used to have a player on one wing, a player on the other. And I would invariably start with a lefty on the left, a righty on the right. Sometimes I might start a lefty on the right and a righty on the left. But what I would do is during the game, I'd sort of like look at my watch and I'd go, right there, unless it was sort of like we've got this lot on toast. If it wasn't working, I'd say, okay, right, you two, change it. And then you've got to push the fullbacks on and all the rest of it. But, change the problems that your fullbacks are going to face. We got a half-time scoreline from the under-21s of 2-0 to the Cockney boys. Hopefully now Bowen has done what Danny wanted. He can start to concentrate on football. Yeah, but he'll be getting sleep this night soon, won't he? Mind you, that's further down the track, probably at the end of the season. So you can't say that time. Yep, true. Alexander, win or lose, Moyes must go. Yep, I agree. Masuaku is still paying for Besiktas. No, I thought he'd come back, hadn't he? I thought he'd come back. Have I misremembered that? Like. Thank you very much indeed, Mandy. Smash that like button and a lot of thumbs. Yes, Lawrence Cross coming over for the strongest pullback into the box for runners. Thank you very much. The rumour is Rafa is lined up to take over. Yes, indeed. What do I think of Claret Blues? I think they're brilliant, mate. Mate, Nick, I get on really well with Nick, and we communicate here and there. Gary and John, they're good lads. And if you don't know, because there might be people, you've asked me the question, Hammer89. I love Claret and Booze, and if any of you guys that are watching, there's 37 of you. If there's any of you 37 that have not heard of who Claret and Booze are, where the hell have you been? Excellent content. Get yourself over there and give them a subscribe. Share the love. Far as I'm concerned, there's no rivalry. I can't speak for other people. Far as I'm concerned, we're all doing this for the love of the club. Give everybody a subscribe. There's so many good channels out there. You've got Claret and Booze. You've got Hammers Chat. You've got West Ham Fan TV. You've got E20 Zone TV. You've got West Ham Irons channel. You've got West Ham Unofficial. There's so many, West Ham Network. So many out there. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no rivalry from my side of things. As far as I'm concerned, we're all here for the same thing. We're all here to sort of give our opinions. And that's all it is. You guys might listen to an opinion on any one of us and say, I don't agree with that. That's fine. Not a problem. It's an opinion. And we can obviously have an adult discussion. And at the end of it, you might still have your point of view. I might still have my point of view. But we can go, do you know what? That's fine. Not a problem. We're adults. Move on. My 9-month-old girl had slept through this 5 weeks old. Wow. Nice. Like it. My brother and sister-in-law had twins. They were raised for the first year. Mind you, they got 2 cracking boys. Now, I am very, very behind on this, aren't I? I'll tell you what, I am going to wind through. Oh, that's an interesting comment. I don't recognize this one. Divish Aurora. Welcome. You'll have to forgive me. I've not seen your name pop up before, but welcome along. Please tell your friends. Moyes can't take that next step. I know from United. He will work when expectations are less. Okay, yeah, no, as I take your point there as well. Dean, hope you are well. And if anybody else is in the chat that I haven't said hello to, as I say, I'm trying to wind through. I'm quite behind. I'm just going to have a little look and just see if there's anything, any sort of pressing matters. Moyes could just be saying he ain't ready. Yeah, listen, he's done it before, mate. He's quite adept at playing smoke and mirrors. You know, this player isn't fit, that player ain't right, blah blah blah. And the team sheets were announced at an hour before kickoff. And oh look, they're playing. I mean, was it last season? Jared Bowen. Oh no, he's not ready. He ain't going to be involved. He won't be in the squad. Blah blah blah. He fucking started. Do we actually think Moyes wants the job and has been promised the Everton job? Don't know, mate. All things are possible. Ings and Obama to save our season. Who would have thought that? Says Mandy. Steve comes into the question earlier. It was True Cockney, wasn't it? Usually a fiver to get on the boats. As I say, sometimes it's a fiver, sometimes it's a set amount, sometimes it's literally just here's the bucket for Iron Supporting Food Bank, sling a few coppers in there, and crack on. Coming back to the conversation, both have been free all season, Steve. No guarantee, always will be, but they have been so far this season. There you go. So there you go. True Cockney and anybody else that's in the vicinity tomorrow, please do pop along. And if you see me there, please come up and say hello. As I say, I'll probably be with who will I be with tomorrow? I'll be with one of my sons. I will be with my daughter, and I will be with my son's girlfriend. So that'll be nice. She's an Arsenal fan, but we tolerate her. Oh, she doesn't. I thought she was an Arsenal fan. I'm being told she's not. I'm being corrected. Is her old man that's an Arsenal fan?
Her old man's an Arsenal fan, and his old man is an Arsenal fan.
Right. So she's from a family of Arsenal fans, but she's not an Arsenal fan. No, well, she's a West Ham fan now, isn't she?
Well, I said to her, she's wearing a West Ham top.
You hear this? I've taught my son well. He's going to get his bird to wear. Am I allowed to say bird? Probably not. I'm probably not allowed to say bird. I'm old. I'm a dinosaur. Female, woman. There you go. David says, "Oh no, I don't want to hear that, David. Please, you've mistyped, haven't you? You meant it the other way around, didn't you? You meant 2-1 West Ham. Please tell me you meant You probably didn't. West Ham. Ali says will be 3-1 West Ham. Stick Antonio right wing back, teach him a lesson. He played for Besiktas at the weekend. Oh, okay, mate. As I say, I've been, like I say, this week, if you were here earlier, you'll know this week's been a little bit whatever. I thought I'd ready to come back from the loan. Mandy says she has a theory, and she goes on to say, Rafa is evens and Deitch is 3-1. Those odds are way too easy to bet on. So I think if Moyes wins tomorrow, he stays till the end of the season. I'm not quite sure I'll go that far. I think he's definitely in for the game against Newcastle. But beyond that, who knows? Claret and Booze is good stuff. Another endorsement there. So, as I say, if any of you watching that don't subscribe, have never seen Claret and Booze, where have you been? There's some really good stuff on there. There's some great lads. Nick, Gary, and John, they're top lads. Get yourself across there, give them a subscribe, share the love, and like I say, we're all one family here. Kent says, I watch every West Ham channel. There's some I prefer. Hopefully this is one of them. I'm guessing it is because you're here. But we're all West Ham at the end of the day. As I say, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for however people view other channels, ourselves included. For me, there's no rivalry from this side of the fence. Absolutely none. I'm quite happy going at our pace. I'm quite happy doing what we do, and it works for us. Other people do more streams. They do this, they do that. I haven't, to be honest. I'm a working man. I'm a father of three. My time, my free time is quite limited. Do you know what I mean? So maybe on Forge we can't do things that other channels do. We sort of pop up. We do this, we do that, and we go and it is what it is. But yeah, I mean that's us. Thank you, Mandy. You are a gem. Chris, hello, my friend. I know he's a Leicester fan, and I know he's got a Leicester fan YouTube channel. But if you haven't, pop across to Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Give them a subscribe. Maybe pop across there, see their content occasionally. Give their content a like when you do. Like I say, he's a good guy. Is Chris? He's a lovely fella. Yes, he's a Leicester fan, and we're playing on the last game of the season, Chris. I hope we're both safe by then. But if it's you or us, mate, it is what it is. You know what I mean? That might be winner takes all territory. Larry says you've been with Gatesy and Duke for a long time. You have, Larry. You have been one of the stalwarts. You really have, and we appreciate you for it. Scarles is on for 21. This boy is a talent. Use him, Mr. Moyes. Use him. Charlie, hope you are welcome along. And Steve, also, you are a stalwart as well. And we thank you very much indeed for your interactions as and when these channels keep me going. Well, we do our best. We do our best to entertain. I mean, I've been sitting here on my own for the last hour and 20 odd minutes, waffling away to you guys, interacting. I love it. I love it. It's great fun. And I always said, you know what? The moment that Duke and I don't enjoy it, the moment Duke and I are not getting out of it what we want to get, what we, got when we first started doing it, we'll give it up at that point. Like I say, we're not, and I'm not, this isn't a criticism. Please don't take it as this. Gio and Gonzo at Hammers Chat, that is their job. That is what pays their mortgage, their rent, their bills, da. That's fine. Not a problem. This for me, this for Duke is not paying the bills. It wouldn't even pay for a book of stamps, to be quite honest with you, what we make out of this. And I'm being dead serious. This is not a money earner. This is a loss to us. It really is. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because we started it. We enjoy it. I love the interaction with you guys. I seriously do. Little bit of back and forth. We can have an adult conversation. We can agree to disagree. You can come up with something that I think is a little bit daft out of it, whatever. And I can do likewise. And we can both look at each other and go, you prat, laugh at each other, shake hands and move on. That's the way it ought to be. Right. I'm just going to have a little scroll through. What is history with Benitez? Does he give chance to one or two kids? Good question, Pete. Good question. I was trying to think about this. Who did he bring through? From the youth team at Liverpool. I can't remember. I mean, Gerrard had already come through, hadn't he? Michael Owen, he fucked off to Real Madrid double quick. I remember that. But he was already established many years before. Did he bring anyone through? He must have done. He was there for, 5-6 years at Liverpool? But I don't know whether he's sort of particularly minded to bringing through young talent. I don't really know. Got to go. Take care, Martin. Thanks for coming along. And he's gone 2-0 West Ham till I die. Charlie's gone 1-0 Ben Rama. You are not talking to the Spuds fan. I have to, mate. It's my wife. It's my wife, mate. What can I do? 2-0 West Ham, says Larry. 1-1 would suit Leicester, says Chris. Wouldn't suit us too much. And he's being asked a question. Do you think Rodgers will get sacked? You weren't saying that before Christmas, were you, old son? You weren't saying that before Christmas. You were like, oh, no, Before that, you were not too pleased. I don't think that Brendan has really had a fair crack of the whip there. I mean, they had a lot of players that left. Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs, we will need a miracle. I think at that point, mate, I think we might need snookers. I think that's where we're at. Only a father of 3, heard at least 5. Well, don't tell the wife about the other 2. You must be 47 plus that, surely. Peter! I thought we were mates. I thought we had an understanding. M. Nice and short to the point. I like that name. M. From James Bond. I like West Ham. So do I. That's why I'm here. Thank you for coming along. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a like on the stream. We've got 44 likes. 44 likes. I'll tell you what, I want to get 50 likes before I knock this on the head. So we need to get 6 more likes and then I'll piss off. Okay. If you want to hear me droning on for ages and ages, then don't hit that like button. Okay. If you want me to bugger off and you can go about your business, you can crack on with the rest of your evening without me in your ear roll, do the right thing, go across to YouTube, drop a like on the stream, get the algorithms moving in the right direction, and then I can sod off and have me dinner. Yeah, I hope we're both safe, mate. I really hope it doesn't come to that. Or it's a dead rubber game and that we're both already down. I mean, Jesus, that would be really depressing, wouldn't it? You know, making the trip up to the King Power Stadium, we're already down, you're already down. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. So hopefully we're both safe. Hopefully we are both safe, and hopefully Danny Ings gets off to a flying start tomorrow. Important to note, every opinion is welcome on these sites, even if you don't agree. Yeah, that's where I'm at, mate. Listen, there's been many people that have popped up on here and said something, and I've gone, no, you can't think, no, that doesn't make sense. And I'm sure I've done that to some of you sometimes with some of the things that I've come out with. But we can agree to disagree. You know, that's the beauty of being an adult. You can sort of give your opinion. I can give my opinion. You can say, I don't agree with your opinion, Rob. I can turn around and say, well, I don't agree with your opinion, Pete. And we can sort of go, okay, that's fine. Doesn't mean to say that we have to fall out over it. We can still be friends. We can still talk. We just have a difference of opinion. Job done. Not a problem. Do it as OnlyFans channel then. I don't know why I did that in an Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was the first 2 words. Do it. And I just had Arnie in my head going, do it now. Get to the chopper. How many likes have I got? I've got 46. I need 4. I need 4 more. You guys need, if you haven't already done so, if you want some peace and quiet this evening, you need to find me 4 likes. I'll tell you what, give your missus a jab. If she's sort of like watching Coronation Street or EastEnders or something, just sort of say to her, look, can you turn your phone on and go onto YouTube, go onto this channel, Forge from Iron, just do us a favour, put a like on it, and then this geezer will bugger off. When he gets to 50, he's going to shut the fuck up and he's going to go. Come on, do the right thing. Come on, let's get the lights going, says Larry. Let's do it. Unlike, let's all. Oh, you. I knew there'd be someone, and I had a funny feeling it'd be you. Mr. Walsh, I really don't know what to say about you. Have you thought about becoming a marriage counselor? No, that wouldn't be good. I hit the like button 6 times. Did you? You're responsible for 6. I've still only got 46, guys. Oh, I can't carry on rabbiting for... I mean, right, okay, right. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to focus on Danny Ings. I'll tell you what, let's do Danny Ings. Let's do Danny Ings. I did say we'd talk about him, and I've gone off on all sorts of different angles. Honestly, it's crazy. Right, let's have a look at Danny Ings. I'll tell you what, should I share this with you? I'll tell you what, let me get rid of that, and I'm going... By the wonder of technology, I'll tell you what, I wish we'd have had the internet when I was a kid growing up. Mind you, actually, my eyesight would have been a lot worse than it is now. Round the back of the bike sheds, copy a razzle. You younger ones don't know you're born, honestly. Right, okay. Here we go. Have a feast your mincers on these, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what I'll do for you. Should I get rid of that banner at the bottom? I'll get rid of that banner at the bottom. You can see a little bit more. There you go. Right, okay. So this is Danny Ings. Now, this is basically his Premier League resume. I'm not interested in FA Cup. I'm not interested in his time in the Championship. I'm really interested in his time in the Premier League. Top flight football with Burnley, with Liverpool, with Southampton. Now, let's have a look here, ladies and gentlemen. He's played a number of different positions. As you can see there on the right hand of the screen. He's played as a centre forward, a second striker, a right winger, and a left winger. Right winger and left winger, he's only played 7 matches in total. Disregard that. Second striker, he's only played 15 matches. So largely, you can disregard that. His position is a centre forward. He's a number 9. I think he could be used in a front two, a front three. He could be used as a lone striker. But look at his pedigree there. And like I say, I'm not going to lie. Was he the choice that I'd have made? Possibly not at the beginning of the transfer window. But the more I think about it, the more I study what he's done, more I look at his resume and really digest it, the more I think, actually, this is a good signing for where we are right now to get us out of the shit that we're in. This is a good signing. 153 matches as a centre forward, 62 goals, 19 assists. That is good going. And that is all Premier League. That's not championship games. That's not playing raggedy ass Rovers second 11 or anything like that. That is playing Premier League top flight opposition. 62 goals, 19 assists in 153 Premier League matches where he has been deployed as the centre forward. That is impressive. If you want to look at his stats by club, he played 130 Premier League matches for Burnley, 43 goals, 14 assists. He played 100 matches for Southampton, 46 goals, 10 assists. That is very impressive. That is really good. I mean, look at that. You've got almost a goal every other game. And if you go goals and assists, well, then you've got more than a goal involvement every other game. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it's not like he was playing for Man City and he was getting things on a plate. This is Southampton Football Club. With all due respect to Southampton, anyone that can kick out those numbers, that is impressive. Then we go to Villa. He played 52 matches. He got 14 goals, 8 assists. Now, okay, I can understand. And this was where I was guilty. I looked at that and thought, well, that's not mega impressive, is it? You know what I mean? But if you have a look at his minutes per goal, that becomes much more impressive. If you look there on where you got the Premier League, 22-23 Premier League, 18 games, 6 goals this season. He's played 818 minutes and he's got 6 goals. Do the maths. Come back at me and tell me that we've not got, that is not on paper a cracking signing for 12 million. I think it is initial outlay, 10, 12 million with extra add-ons taking it to 15 million total. The more I look at this signing, the more I think there is to like. We scroll down. Premier League, he's got 188 appearances, 68 goals, 19 assists. If you want to add in other bits and pieces, he got 87 appearances in the Championship, 27 goals, 9 assists. He's also played League One, Premier League Two, and League One playoff matches. We'll leave them to one side. He obviously has amongst, and I was guilty of this, can't lie. I did think this guy was quite injury prone. And if you look down, we come to a point here. Here it is. In his time at Liverpool, he did a cruciate ligament rupture, which put him out, as you can see, for quite some considerable time. But this was in 2015. This was in October 2015. So we're going back 7 and a bit years. It's a long time ago. So just keep that in mind. A lot of his time off, a lot of his reputation with injury has come on the back of that. And when he came back, look at that. He came back for one match. He then had a clutch of games where, as you can see there, it just says not in squad. Just wasn't in the squad. No explanation. And then it became clear that he had a knee problem and he was out with knee surgery. So he comes back from a cruciate injury and then does his knee. And look at that. Poor sod. I mean, that is absolutely horrible situation. So he eventually comes back in 2017. So look at that. Right? So just wind back. He gets that injury in October 2015. He basically, but for the game there, on the 15th of May 2016, he basically isn't involved in football in the first team until October 2017. So that's basically he's been out 2 years up to that point. Poor sod. And that's basically where his reputation, by and large, has come from for being an injury-prone player. But let's wind on a little bit. So this is his time at Liverpool, up to and including the 13th of May 2018. That was his last match in the first team for Liverpool. Now, obviously, towards the end of his time at Liverpool, he's up against Salah, he's up against Mane, he's up against Firmino. He ain't getting in there, really, is he? He just isn't, with all due respect. So then he goes on to Southampton. And as I discussed earlier, he got 100 goals and he got virtually a goal every other game. And he got better than a goal involvement every other game in a team like Southampton. With all due respect, that is phenomenal when you actually analyse it. Now, look here, he's got 4 games off with a hamstring. He comes back. He then has another hamstring injury. Only puts him out for 1 game now. Then he goes 5 matches with a hamstring injury, comes back. He has 1 game where he's not in the squad. Reasons I don't know. I'm not sure. Was that a loan? Because I noticed that was against Liverpool. Did he originally go there on loan? I can't remember. So I'm just wondering if, because that was against Liverpool, was there a loan? Was it a sort of he couldn't play because of that? I don't know. Anyway, wind on. It is an absolute raft of matches there that he's involved in. Back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And 90 minutes, virtually all of them, or as close as. So then we get to the 1st of November 2020. He has a game against Villa. He sustains a knee injury, puts him out for 3 games. He comes back, plays 4 games, out for 1 game with a hamstring, 2 games, out with a knock, plays another sort of, a dozen or so, half a dozen matches. He then has 2 matches not in the squad, 3 matches, 2 not in the squad. Keep going, keep going. I mean, not in the squad. Don't know if it was injury. Don't know if that was just personal reasons. Don't know if he just wasn't picked. This is now his time at Villa. This is sort of just looking there. 2021, he he makes the jump to Villa from Southampton. Not in the squad. No explanation as to why. I've got no idea. But you'll notice none of them say that he's injured. It just says he's not in the squad. Information not yet available. And that there is basically his career to date in the top flight. So just to sort of look at the numbers there, he's been in 206 squads for match days. He has been in the starting 11 152 times. He has been in 36 further times. And he has been on the bench, not used as a sub, 18 times. He has been suspended not once. So none of the matches that he has missed has been because he's been sent off or because he's totted up a requisite amount of bookings that mean that he's got to miss a game. So that's quite heartening to see. And obviously he's had 76 match day squads days where he has been out with an injury. And as you saw there, he had basically 2 years out of football. So that's probably the bulk. In fact, there's no probably about it. That is the bulk of the 76 matches right there. He wasn't involved. So the more I think about this, the more I and like I say, I can't lie, he wouldn't have been my first choice striker. I probably would have had him quite a bit down the list. I know Gio from Hammers Chat absolutely was cock a hoop at this signing. Absolutely cock a hoop. Me a little bit less so at the time. Now I've actually had time to sort of sit back and I've heard Gio's reasonings and all the rest of it, and I've looked at the stats. And the more and more I look and I go, this is probably the best signing we could have made right now. Given the situation that we're in, we're not where we were 12 months ago. We're where we are now. Different landscape, different scenario. But given that, this is probably as good a signing, as good value for money signing as we could make. Yes, he's 30 years of age. Yes, this doesn't significantly bring down the age profile of our squad. But he's got to be a better bet than Andy Carroll, hasn't he? He's got to be a better bet than Andy Carroll. Anyway, right, okay. What have I missed? Rob, I was late to the party. Just keep going. Cheers, Dean. Cheers, Dean. How many likes have I got now? 49. Oh, come on. Like I say, just prod your missus and tell her to like it, and then I'll bugger off. Ings, he's our man. If he can't score, no one can. Gatesy is the nuclear Rainer. God, I hope not. Your wife wants you to carry on, otherwise she will have to talk to you. I'll have to talk to her. There's two sides to every coin. Oh, don't do that. Oh, true Cockney, no. Oh, we was doing so well. I don't speak Cyrillic. Well, I can't understand Cyrillic. I got no idea what you've just said. Welcome along. We come in peace. You know. 2-2. All gone wrong for the under-21s. Under-21s have gone Spursy. Calm down, Gatesy. He's only having a bubble. Who's that? Who you know about, John? You've lost me, mate. I'll say I've been doing other things. I was talking about Danny Ings, mate. I've got no idea what you're talking about. Please feel free to let me know. That's all right. Man United looking much stronger this half. Ings is a cracking signing. Since Ekwa went off, did he get sent off or was he subbed? Don't know. Let me know. Take care, Steve. Hope you're well. Hope you are well. We got 27 watching. Have I got my 50th like yet? I have. Yes. Yes. Right. So I'm going to bugger off. I'm going to go through your remaining comments. I will then go because I want to have my dinner. Can only see one winner at the minute. 3 hammers are well. Yes. 3 hammers. Luke. Yes. That's another one, true Cockney. As I say, there's loads that I had in my head. If you haven't, if you're sitting there going, who are the 3 hammers? Please do me a favor. On YouTube, in the search bar, just put the 3 hammers and you'll find a West Ham fan YouTube channel called The 3 Hammers. Luke's the main contributor over there. Paul obviously does a few little bits and pieces with him as well. Go over there, honestly. Again, good content. And share the love. Share the love. Make love, not war. C. Kinnear's gone off to Falkirk on loan. Brian Kinnear, the goalkeeper. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, he came in. I think he came from Rangers, didn't he, from memory? Listen, he doesn't look anything special at Premier League level anyway. He was never going to get a crack. So off to Falkirk, you pop, matey, and hope you do well. Looks like Man United have 2 extra players. You sure they haven't? Hey, guys. Nick, hope you well. Better late than never. Louis Zhao is playing in the under-21s. Oh, please don't tell me it's all gone tits up since did he come on as a sub? Did he start? I don't know. Hanging on. Occo Flex on. Blonde-haired kid for Man United looks good. Let me know who that is, mate. I'd be interested to know. It's always good to hear about the kids. I know this is a Man United kid. It's not one of ours, but, you know, it could be the next big thing. The next Haaland. All your fault, true. You're welcome for the 50th. 51, says Paul. Right, okay. I have been rabbiting for nearly an hour and a quarter. I've got 51 likes. That's not bad going. And you was the 50th, was you, Nick? Oh, I get it. Sorry. I get what you're saying now. Nick, you're a gentleman. That means I can now stop rabbiting, go and have me dinner, go and talk to me wife. Don't push it, Rob. Don't push it. Brazilian bloke don't look good. Oh, that's typical, isn't it? We've brought him all the way over from the Copacabana, and that's it. No, don't. Please don't. Please don't. No, leave that like where it is, young man. Seriously, I'm hungry. I've got to go. I've been doing this on my own from the beginning. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I've got to be honest. Normally, I've got me wingman here. As I say, he's absolutely under the pump at the minute. So I've just had to basically sit here and wing it. And I hope I've done a good job. I hope I've entertained you. If I have entertained you, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you could please do that, that would be very, very much appreciated. And if you have not yet dropped a like on it, despite my numerous hints. You've just been really, really mischievous because you wanted to hear me rabbiting on and make me really uncomfortable, make me work for my corn. Please do. You can put a like on it now. I've got the 50 plus, so you might as well. It's not going to make any difference. I am now going to clear off. Hit that bell icon, though. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. And as soon as you've got anything that's added to the channel, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded, you'll be notified. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. If you are new around here, there's plenty of stuff. You can go in our back catalogue. I appreciate you might not be too interested in seeing a match review, a match preview from 2 seasons ago. Probably I wouldn't give a shit, to be quite honest with you. But we've got a few Q&As with players. We've got Tony Cottee. We've got Tom McAllister. We've got David Cross. David Cross was probably my favourite one of the lot. I loved every single interview we've done. Everyone's been an absolute gent. Everyone's been so giving with their time, and I can't thank them enough. But if I had to pick my favourite as the whole experience, I would probably go David Cross. The guy was an absolute gentleman. Mad as a March hare, though. Dry sense of humour, and just such a lovely man. And we actually met him a little bit later on, and he was so humble, down to earth, really, really good guy. If you haven't seen the interviews, guys, they're out there on the channel. Just have a look for the player interviews, the Q&As, whatever they're under. You'll find them. You'll find them. Really good stuff. Some good information out there. Stuart Slater. We've interviewed Tony Carr. I've interviewed my hero, Tony Cottee. I mean, that was a big one for me. I was like, wow, this is, we'd interviewed people before and I was in awe of them, but this was just next level. This was just like, oh, mate, I'm not a kid in a sweet shop. But there you go. There's more chats. Hang on. Gatesy Good Show says, Walshy, thank you very much. Oh, just as I'm about to knock it on the head. If they deserve it, though, mate, it is what it is. Ed, you are very welcome, as always. Luis Hours played from the start. Got pace, made a couple of recovery tackles. Fair enough. Dean, you are more than welcome. Here comes the promo. Yeah, you've been around. You know the crack. Normal service. Right. Okay. Let's. Yep. I've seen it, mate. Yeah. Not good. Gave us a little bit of hope, but it's going a bit Spursy. Right. I probably should now hit the button that promotes the Iron Supporting Food Bank, which is a charity that we like to champion here. And we're not the only channel. I'm not saying that for a moment. There's lots of other channels that do a good bit of promotion. West Ham Network and Hammers Chat being 2 principal examples. If you could see your way fit, their deets are in below the description on the YouTube, as you'll see, explained by some guy whose voice you might be familiar with. But before I do that, I'd like to wish you a very good Friday evening. As I say, if you see me at the Hammers Chat boats tomorrow, please don't be shy to come over and say a quick hello and introduce yourself. It would be really much appreciated. And come on, you Irons. 3 points tomorrow, 2-1 win for the Cockney boys. On we go. Forged from Iron is proud to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham United fans and friends inspired by the work of other football fan food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations from Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply 7 distribution centres in the borough, 7 days a week, and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. They are supported in their efforts by West Ham United Football Club, the WHU Foundation, LS185, London Legacy Development Corporation, Newham Council, the Met Police, Spire London East Hospital, Expedient Security, and a large number of West Ham and football fans. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thank you for your support. Come on, you Irons.